Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the Promoter's Corner. And we've got a lot of ground to cover tonight, and it's always great when I can bring in a guest here to the studio to talk to you. And I've got a good one here. You know, he's been with us before. He's the SICW Classic Champion, and I'm talking about the Big Texan. Texan, welcome to the studio.
It's always nice to be back.
Man, I'll tell you, we've had a rough journey, rough road trips, and it seems like ever since you won this classic title, you've had nothing but a big bullseye on you.
I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, when you're the classic champion, you want to be a defending champion. You want to always have it on the line, mainly because you want to be the top dog in this industry. And to be top dog, you gotta have this. And then that bullseye gets painted pretty quick.
Well, and you know, we talk about all the road trips that we've been doing here at SICW because it's just been one show after another, or one fundraiser helping different organizations raise their funds. And, you know, the bullseye started back around the Little Devil show that we did when you got introduced to Stephen E.'s Fireball. I mean, you had the injury from that, and it's just kind of escalated from there.
Right. Big old snowball there. No pun intended, because the Fireball. But, yeah, I mean, you got Stephen E., you got Lucky P. Larson. I mean, just about everyone in that locker room wants a shot at this. So whether it be friend or foe, I'll be there to defend it.
Yeah, well, as you said, you know, this is a title that is represented all over, and it means a lot. It's just not a strap or a belt, as some people call them. You know, it has names of all the legends, all the greats that made St. Louis so popular.
Right. You know, so we never call this the heavyweight belt or, the big title or anything like that. This is the St. Louis Classic title, you know. Everyone that's on these plates here, you know, they wrestled in St. Louis or was a big part of St. Louis. So, I mean, to me, this is bigger than any heavyweight title that there is.
Kind of like the holy grail of professional wrestling, because, you know, Sam Muchnick, Larry Matisek, Mickey Garagiola, Joe Garagiola, Johnny Valentine, the Von Erichs, everybody, as you said, that made St. Louis so popular, name is on these plates, and it's something to be proud of.
When you're defending it, it's almost like you're defending every single one of these people on these plates, you know. You're representing them, so I like to, you know, I want to represent them as best as I can.
Well, and you've been doing a good job at it. Like I said, I think you know, you've been around long enough that snowball is only going to get bigger because, as you said, the bullseye is on you. Everybody wants to have that because they know with that they become the big cheese, basically.
Right.
And, you know, in SICW, not taking away anything from anyone else in the locker room, you know, we've got years and years of experience in that locker room, and you're defending that against a bunch of them. I mean, like you said, you've got the Stephen E.'s, you've got the Attila Khans, people like that. And then you also have the other side of that coin, the Gary Jacksons of the world, the Bobby D's, that would love to have this belt also.
Right, like I said, friend or foe, you know, yeah. Unfortunately, there's a line, so you got to get in that line. But your time will come if I'm still the champ.
Well, and that's the thing. Let's talk in a few moments about, we talked about the Little Devils when Stephen E., you know, it's no secret, you know, he's made the offer. He wants to own SICW, and that's a story for another day. But the fans who follow us know that that's been an ongoing issue with him. But he does, you know, represent the Devastation Incorporated. And when you talk about big men in this business, you know, you're talking about Attila Khan, Jake Prater, Jake Prater, Peyton Ayers. He had Derek Stone in that organization with him. I mean, how do you prepare for that type of forces that he's put together?
You know, it's really hard to prepare because it's not really like a wrestling match that you're going into. I mean, most of these are just outright brawls, and you just got to keep swinging, man. You just got to keep digging in, and hopefully I can have that time where I can throw the clothesline. And I mean, even the clothesline, you know, I had that match won at the Little Devils. You know, I was able to give the lariat, and then Stephen E., you know, you seen him interfere, hitting me with whatever that stick is called, and then And then Peyton was able to hold me to where Stephen E was able to throw that fireball. But not even just me. Gary Jackson was on the receiving end of
Yes.
that fireball too. So.
Well, and that's what I find kind of disturbing is Stephen E is out there making all of these promises and making all of these plans and how he wants to do this, and if he's successful in negotiating to take over SICW, all the changes he wants to make. But it's just not that easy to do. And
well, think about it. If he's planning on buying SICW, which I hope he doesn't, it can't be an organization full of his henchmen, because people like me, people like Gary, we're not going to work for that guy. He's thrown fireballs in our faces. The hostility on that job is going to be crazy.
Let's go back just to the last week, and I know your busy schedule. I don't know if you got to see it, or sometime during the week you probably caught up with it. The interview that Travis Cook did. What was your impression of that? Here's a guy that we thought that was gone and going to stay gone, and now all of a sudden they find him and he's sitting at his home
Right.
by the swimming pool and starts talking about how he made the best decision he ever did.
Well, they say money cures everything, so I guess that was a big part of him. Even though he had that interview, we don't know if, hopefully he's gone for good anyway. However, he did talk about how he got Attila Khan to go after everyone, and yeah, I hope Travis is actually gone for good.
Well, and again, I was surprised, and I know Dr. Drew was. It was kind of like, whoa, where did this come from? All of a sudden,
Right.
We get told that he's going to have a interview, and he got to say his few moments of what he thought and how he's luxury now and spent his money wisely, and basically sent me the message that, hey, you need to consider, because the money was right what Stephen promised him showed up. But again, story for another day. You'll hear more about that probably in the weeks and months to come.
I do want to butt in for a second. The history of you in St. Louis, the history with this belt in St. Louis, wrestling at the Chase, I want you to remember all that. When he's coming with this big money offer, I want you to think about everyone on these plates and how, to me, it would be like turning your back on these people if you sell to the likes of a Stephen E. So just throwing that back in your mind.
Well, and you don't have to do that, because where we were this afternoon, and we're going to talk about that here in just a few moments, walking into that atmosphere, believe me, the wheels were spinning, the ears were listening to those walls.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they were talking to you.
It was talking, and so like I said, we'll talk about that in just a few moments. Let's talk about superstar Steve Fender, the man who was trained by the late, great Harley Race. Some says, and I say, probably one of the greatest wrestlers of all times. One of the toughest for sure. He seems to be focused on you. You guys had probably by far one of the, if not the greatest matches inside of a steel cage. And when we talk about the steel cage, you can attest to the fact that it's a steel cage. It's not a chain link fence.
Right.
But let's talk about that. At Fairmont City, we were able to go there and help the police and fire department raise some funds for them. And I'm telling you, the main event was like none that I've seen.
Well, I knew going into that steel cage that I was going to come out the same. And I can tell you, I didn't. Besides the bruises and the cut from the cage, just being in there with Fender, defending the belt, where he had everything to gain and I had everything to lose. He is one tough son of a gun. Being trained by Harley Race, calling me out for being in a steel cage, it was all getting to me. But at the same time, I was thinking, if Harley was alive, what would he think of Stephen Fender?
Well, I'll tell you, and you're right. Whether you like him or not, the superstar Steve Fender has been all over. He's been around. He's got years and years of experience. He is a veteran of that squared circle. And when he comes out with one focus, and that's he's going to go in there and do whatever he can to win. And you saw that a couple times now, but inside that little steel cage. Tell our viewers how does that feel? Other than trying to get out of it, and which he tried a couple of times, and
right.
You were successful in keeping him from climbing over the top of it.
So the steel cage match is totally different from any other match because you come in, you're expecting to do some wrestling moves, maybe get your opponent in some sort of position where he's got to tap out, or you go in for hopefully getting that 1, 2, 3 pretty quick. Steel cage is totally different. It's a cage. You're locked inside there, so no one can enter, no one can leave. The door's locked, and then you have the steel cage itself as a weapon. Besides that, I made an accident. I brought in my cowbell, my rope, and Steve he jumped me from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then used my own stuff against me. So
well, I think on one hand that kind of shows the respect he has for you, because he said, "Wait a minute, I got to get this big guy. I got to equal the odds up here somehow." And he did. Yeah. He jumped you from the get-go. But again, he is one tough cookie. And like I said, I don't think you've seen the last of Steve Fender, have you?
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
He's a local legend here in St. Louis area anyway. So, yeah, I'm sure this is the prize that he wants. Because he's held it once before.
Right.
So I'm sure he knows what it is to hold it, and he wants it again.
Right.
But this is my precious right now.
Yeah. Well, like I said, and then that match alone at Fairmont City was just off the chart. The whole card was, of course, but anytime you have a specialty match like that, the steel cage, it always adds to it. And then when you have the caliber of people in there, like the champion, the Big Texan against the superstar Steve Fender, that crowd was electrified. I'll tell you, it's just unreal.
From the start. From the
start, it was just great. But so as we move forward, let's talk about. Saturday at Belclair Fairgrounds.
Last night?
Mike Masters, part of Toxic Masculinity. Him and Axe all worked, it was a singles match, but, those guys are another, whether they're together or singles, it always seems they finagle their way to get in to help one another. So right. I think they got the bullseye on you, too.
Yeah, which is weird. They're talking about how they're the greatest tag team, but then they singled me out. This is just giving Mike just a shot, just to see if he was worth it. And I would have thought he would have took it as a shot, thinking that he's going to be a single wrestler, the competition. But no, he had Axe trying to sneak his way in there too. So ended up being almost like a 2-on-1.
Yeah, exactly. And both of them are veterans, been around a long time. Both of them are tough as nails, especially Axe, and Mike Masters is following right there in suit with him. So I think that you're going to have to really watch out for them. So let's talk about this afternoon. That's what I said, and I want you to talk about that first because it's kind of been on your bucket list, I would say.
Right. For starters, just walking into that room and seeing those chandeliers that are original from back in the day from Wrestling at the Chase. So just to be under the same, I don't know, it's weird, but just to be under the same light fixtures.
And for those of you who are listening to us out there, we're talking about the Chase Park Plaza Hotel, the Coruscant room, yes, where Wrestling at the Chase started on television in 1959. That's where we were this afternoon, so go ahead.
Yes, I'm actually kind of getting goosebumps just thinking about where I was, just being under the same lights as all the legends, the Harley Race, the Kevin Von Erich, the Kerry Von Erich. It was, had my mind running about how, because I'm a little young, so I missed being there and actually showing up myself. So it was like the closest thing that I could have got. I always talk about me and my father watching Wrestling at the Chase, but those were the reruns. I got the reruns. My father, of course, got the ones that were live, and had to be the Saturday night thing or the Sunday morning thing to do. But I was able to catch it with my father on the reruns when they came through. And that's actually what started my whole wrestling career, basically, was my father's love for the wrestling at the Chase and me following kind of in behind his footsteps because I want to make him proud of me, you know? And to wrap it all up of being in the same room that these wrestlers did and wrestled and gave their blood, sweat, and tears. And I went in there and I came out the champion at the same time. I mean,
Well, and knowing that everybody that's on these plates had wrestled at the Chase Park Plaza, at the Coruscant Room, had to be just
looking down on me.
It was great. And you're going to see some of that footage as we move on in the future weeks here. But what a great feeling. And now I can tell you that, as I said earlier when we started talking, just walking into the Coruscant Room, and I've been there for other functions over the years, and every time I've been in there, whether it's been for a meeting or for a seminar or for a political function or whatever it may be, there has not been one time that I've been there that there'd be a group of individuals in this part of the room or another part of the room, and all the time they will start talking about, boy, if these walls could talk. You know, those chandeliers, Rip Hawk, Dick the Bruiser, when he used to go out and grab somebody's cold beverage off the table and pour it over his head. There'd always be a conversation get started there, and of course, somebody who I would be with would say, well, you know, Herb knows a lot about wrestling, and of course then that would just start the conversation about wrestling at the Chase. So, but for me to be able to go back there, I never ran a show there. This was a private show for a great organization. In fact, the grandson of the owner of the Chase Park Plaza back in the day, Harold Koppler, his grandson, contacted us, myself and Ed Wheatley, and we put on a private event there this afternoon for him. Had a little wrestling seminar for some of the young kids. Cowboy Bob Orton was with us, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, and of course the WWE legend Ron Simmons. And you know, what a great afternoon it's been. And like I said, the bucket list is complete as far as being able to go back there and see that SICW logo on the side of that ring, the music playing of the boys are back in town.
Right. Had to be almost like full circle for you.
Full circle, yeah. It was great. So my message there, and Stephen E., if you see this, I got to tell you, the price probably just went up. If there was ever a price, it just went up.
Music to my ears there.
Yeah, so it's really, it was an honor to do that. You know, and we go back and we talk about all the road trips that we're doing and how the end of the year has ended up. You know, we got one, we're going back to the Shriners on October 21st. Another great card that's going to be there. The Shriners does such an excellent job, and we're honored to be able to say we're going back there. October the 28th, we have the Ben Oliver Memorial at the Fireman's Hall in Collinsville, Illinois. A lot of the legends, the local alumni from Gateway Championship Wrestling is putting that on. Sean Vincent, again, whether you like him or not, was good friends of Big Ben Oliver. He's kind of helping spearhead that whole show for there. So that's going to be a great, there's going to be, I understand the Human Wrecking Ball, Pete Madden is going to be there. And that's a treat in its own right there.
Yeah, I love Pete Madden.
Pete's one of the all-time greats, and I'm looking forward to seeing Pete and a bunch of the other gentlemen that worked there in the GCW for Ben Oliver. You know, Ben had worked for us for several different shows back in the day, and he went on to do his own promotion and was very successful with that with the help of the guys. And this is a good thing. They're all coming together. Ben had passed away a couple of years ago and never did get his send-off from the guys and girls that helped him through his promotion. So that's going to be on October the 28th at the Fireman's Hall in Collinsville, Illinois. But what we want to do right now is, since you know you've had such a rough road, and we've talked about some of them rough matches you got, I think it's only worth for our audience is to those who couldn't make it to that Fairmont City show is to show them what it was being done in that steel cage between you and Superstar Steve Fender.
You guys are going to be in for a treat.
You're going to be in for a treat, and that's going to be coming up right now. And then we appreciate each and every Sunday you joining us here. And like I said, you'll be seeing more clips of some of the matches that we've been talking about in weeks to come. But right now, let's go to Fairmont City, Illinois, in the steel cage match and watch this title be defended by the champion, the Big Texan, against Superstar Steve Fender.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening. It is for the SICW Classic Wrestling Championship. Introducing first, your challenger, trained by the legendary Harley Race. From Hollywood, California, weighing in at 239 pounds, he is a former classic wrestling champion, Superstar Steve Fender. His opponent from Gun Barrel, Texas, weighing in tonight at 376 pounds. He is the reigning, defending SICW Classic Wrestling Champion, the Big Texan.
Well, fans, there you see, look at that, the Superstar Steve Fender already jumping the champion from behind before the bell even rang inside that steel cage. Look at him, whipping him with that cowbell and that rope. The Big Texan didn't even have time to throw his gear out of the ring. Referee Bill Henson assigned to this match, it's for the SICW Classic Champion, Superstar Steve Fender, the man who was trained by the late, great Harley Race, wants that gold title back that he once held. But the Big Texans, it says, you're going to have to take it from me. And the only way you're going to do it is you're going to have to beat me inside this steel cage. And you see right there, just tosses him into that steel cage. And as we've said before, that is a steel cage. That isn't one of your cyclone fence that somebody puts up around the wrestling ring. That is a steel cage. And when you hit that, you know you're hitting a piece of steel. Big chops delivered by the Superstar. But there you see the champion. This guy is a mountain of a man. And look at him. He's just muscling up and now just grabs Fender and tosses him into that corner. And a big open hand slap to the chest. But that doesn't stop Fender. He comes back and now he goes over. Look at him. He's going to try to get out of there. He said, maybe I've had enough of the champion already. He climbs up trying to get up to the top of that cage. It doesn't make any difference. Even if you get out, the match continues. You're going to have to win this by either a pinfall or a submission. We put him in the cage to keep him confined, but you saw that Steve Fender trying to make his way out. He says, maybe I bit off a little bit more than I can chew, but you can't ever count a guy like Steve Fender out. Now, the champion goes for a cover, and there Fender kicks out. Fans, this is at the Fairmont City fundraiser at the Holy Rosary Gymnasium. A great crowd, a great turnout for a great organization. And this was the main event. Big elbow to the back of the neck and the head of the champion. Now he backs him into the corner, and now it just starts delivering those big right fists to the side of the head of the champion. The champion, the Big Texan. He's a fighting champion. He defends that title each and every time he steps into that ring. And now Fender, one of them big judo chops. And there, once again, the champion just muscles up and now swings Fender around. And another vicious slap to the chest, a big chop. And there Fender goes all the way over. He's trying to get the door open on the cage. He says, man, how do I get out of here? But here comes the champion from behind, that big forearm, landing itself right across the upper back, and another one. Both of these men, veterans of that squared circle, and then when you put that cage around it, it just makes him even that much tougher. Uh-oh. Texan backs him up, licks that hand. Oh, and man, oh man, I felt that. And so did the superstar. As I said, superstar Steve Fender, trained by Harley Race. And you can bet he's thinking right now, what would Harley do? How would he handle a man of this size? Of course, a good question. And we all know Harley took on some of the biggest in the business, the likes of Bruiser Brody, Ric Flair, and that list just goes on and on. But there you see the champion fighting his way back, and once again, Fender tries to climb up the side of the cage, but the champion grabs him from behind. Bill Henson just trying to stay out of the way of these two bruisers. I'll tell you, it's just been forearms and fists back and forth, one to another. Really, I can't give an advantage to either man at this point in time. The champion is on the attack with Fender in the corner. Look at him. He hit him so hard, he knocked him up onto the top rope. And once he comes in and out, just a kick to the lower back. Knocks him off of that rope. Now the champion grabs his leg, goes for the cover, kind of one, and only a one, and Fender manages to kick out again. These guys know this match is for the gold. Whoever has that title has bullseyes on them. Everybody wants a shot at the gold, but right now, the big man, the bull in the locker room, the big Texan, is the SICW Classic Champion. And he's had some battles here in the past several months, and this one here, though, this may be one of the toughest, if not the toughest, matches he's had. You know, he's took on the likes of Attila Khan and others, but right now, he's playing a little dirty himself. He basically said, hey, if the superstar wants to break the rules a little bit, I'll show him how to do it also. Big punch to the midsection by the champion. Fender, now he brings him out of the corner. Oh, what's he do? He scoops him up. Oh, but no, Fender slides down the back and now kicks the leg of the champion, trying to take those wheels out from underneath him. If he can't stand, he's having trouble fighting. Oh, a kick to the back and takes the Texan face first down to the canvas. That's where you want to keep a guy the size of a Texan. Oh, Fender still trying to get that door open, but now he's trying to find a way to climb out, I guess. Texan slow to get back up. Big elbow delivered by Fender. A big punch. Fender now on the attack. On the offense. Another one to the side of the head. Oh, and chop. These last few moments has kind of slowed the Texan down, and there Fender once again goes up to that middle rope and starts delivering those punches to the head. And another one. I don't know if they're having much impact on the Texan, but now he takes him, and what's he do? Tosses him into the cage once again. Wow, right where the cages are joined together. He just threw Texan's head right into that steel post. Referee Bill Henson checking on the Texan to make sure he's okay, make sure he doesn't want to submit. And Fender begins to put the leather to the back, to that lower back of the champion. Has he worn him down enough to try to get a pin on him? And no, he goes around now. He's got that piece of tape, I think it is. Either that or a part of that rope that was brought into the ring, and he's choking the Texan with him. You know, fans, this is a all-out war, so the referee is going to give him a lot of leeway. He knows how important it is for one of these men to walk out of there as that SICW Classic Champion. So he's going to give him a little leeway. These are both veterans, as we said, and the Texan now flat on his back, and now the big knee drop delivered by Fender. Now he goes for the cover. This could be it. A count of 1, 2. Oh, Texan, knowing where he's at in that ring, reaches out and grabs that lower rope, which stops the count. But there you see, look at Fender. He's going right at him. punching right to the forehead. And now I think he's kind of hurt his hand. Texan's got a big, hard head, but that hasn't stopped Fender from trying to weaken his opponent. Texan getting up to his knees. Now Fender comes in with the boots again, kicking him to the head. Texan, slow to get up. Still on the knees, climbs over. Fender from behind. Once again, there he goes into that cage. Man, it's like a weapon farm. Fender just now elbow to the forehead. Texan staggers back into the corner. Once again, Fender goes up to that middle rope and more punches to the head. More as you see each punch in the Texan's knees. Now, wait a minute. Now, Fender climbs up to the top rope. And now it looks like he's climbing up to the top of the cage. But wait a minute. Now the Texan grabs him by the leg. He's trying to pull him back down. And wait a minute. He's got him on his shoulders. Oh, my gosh. What's he going to do now? Fender is on the shoulders, as you see right there. And, drops him backwards. What a fall. Fender backwards on the canvas. Both men down. Both men wore out. Referee begins that count. Who's going to get to their feet first? Referee Bill Henson. I don't know if I'd want to have his job in there, I'll tell you. He's keeping a close eye. He's watching them. He's asking them, you guys okay? You want to end it? No, but there you see, now the Texan gets up. First blow with that big right ham hock and comes off of the rope. And no, Fender stops him. Drop kicks him to the leg. Now he comes across, drops his right on his back, rolls Texan over. 1, 2, but no. The big Texan reaching down inside. Kicks out of it. A count of 2, but just that quick, the superstar continues to deliver those kicks to the head. And now what's he doing? Bill Henson checking on him. Like I said, you must win by a pinfall or a submission. And now, that big kick to the back of the champion. Fender, he's got to be thinking, what can I do? He's the champion. I used to be the champion. I want the title back, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get it. And he's showing you right here, once again, whatever that is, if it's a piece of tape or a piece of that rope, I can't really tell. But he's using it around the throat of the Texan. Texan getting to his feet. Oh, a jawbreaker. That'll stun you. And there you see Fender staggering back into the corner. Texan getting up to his feet. Wobbly. Moves in. More punches to the midsection, but drops down to his knees, and the ropes save him from falling all the way down. Both of these monsters, both of these men are wore out. They've been going nonstop since the start of the bell. Well, even prior to that, when Fender jumped the champion before the bell was even sounded, and they have not stopped. Another big right by superstar Steve Fender. A front mirror delivered by Fender. Now he comes off the rope and double leg drop across the chest of the Texan. 1, 2, and there once again the Texan kicks out. And look, you can just see Steve Fender sitting there. He's got to be saying, what have I got to do? I've hit this guy with everything. I've thrown him into the cage. I hit him in the head with my elbow, with my fist, and he continues to come back. Well, fans, that's why he is the champion. Another big forearm being delivered by Fender. Another one now. Fender comes off of the rope, and oh, look at that. Texan picks him, got him up in the air, and drops him down with a power slam. This could be at 1, 2. No! Fender kicks out. Man, back and forth. These guys, I don't know where they're getting all of the energy to continue. It's been, now look at Texan. He's got a second win. Look at them jabs. Now the big right. But look at how quick Fender gets right back up. That's the determination. That's a fighter. That's a man who used to be the champion and wants to be the champion again. And, of course, the Texan moves out of the way, and Fender hits that turnbuckle. Both of these men, I don't know what is holding them up, why they're not down on the canvas. Texan blocks that big right by Fender and delivers one of his own. He blocks it again, another big right. Battling back and forth a third time, he blocks that arm, that blow from Fender. He swings around wild, misses him. Now he picks him up, drops him a knee drop. And you talk about sending the shivers up your spine. You can see Fender staggering. And now Texan scoops him up again, gonna body slam him. He's got him up. But wait a minute. Fender, he was too weak. Right back. This is it. No. Texan kicks out of that. I thought when he fell back on Texan that he'd have him. Texan's leg gave out from underneath him. But no, this match is still continuing. Non-stop action. Both of these men battling back and forth right here at the Holy Rosary Gymnasium in Fairmont City, Illinois. And now there you see superstar Steve Fender. What's he going to do now? Is he trying to get out of the cage? No, he's up on that top rope. A diving headbutt. A diving headbutt. The maneuver that made Harley Race famous. Steve Fender just did it. This is it. A count of 1, 2. Wait a minute. Texan, how in the world did he kick out of that? Wow, that diving headbutt off of the top rope delivered by Steve Fender. I think he thinks he won. He's raising his hand. Wait a minute, no, he's signaling maybe he's going up again. That's what he's doing. Thinks he's going to deliver another headbutt. He's climbing up. He's up on the top rope. Texan's up, staggering around, but he comes off. And Texan tried to grab him, but he couldn't. Now he rolls him over in a small cradle, but they're in the ropes. Referee calls for a break. They got tied up in the rope. And it's Texan back on the offense. Both men to their feet. Blows back and forth. Fender heads some to the midsection. Now he comes off of the rope. There's that vicious lariat delivered by the Texan. This could be it. 1, 2, 3. There you have it, fans. What a battle. What a war. And the big Texan, in the end, delivering that huge lariat on superstar Steve Fender. I'm telling you, probably one of the greatest cage matches that I've witnessed, if ever, right here in Fairmont City. And you see the Texan getting to his feet, the belt being given in to referee Bill Henson, as you see the Texan holding that belt up.
Well, there you go. You've seen what we talked about, and you got to see it right there firsthand. And boy, I'll tell you, did that give you some goosebumps? I mean, there are a couple times I thought it was over with for you.
You thought, I thought.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Right, because, Harley Race is well known for that diving headbutt. And, I took one of Steve's, and then he actually went up for a second one. I was like, nope, not me. I ain't doing that. So I got up and was able to kind of body reflect him down on the ground. And as soon as he got up, I was able to hit that lariat.
Well, I didn't know what to think, because when he was trying to climb up that one point over, I guess he wanted to get away from you. And then he ended up on your shoulders, and I'm thinking, oh man, where's he going now with this, So you got to see it right there firsthand, but nothing like being there in person, I can tell you. So anytime you see that SICW banner, you need to try to get there, because you'll feel it right there. What we want to do now, since we talked a little bit about this afternoon at the Chase Park Plaza, we're going to give you a little clip from some of the action that from Wrestling at the Chase, because it's only fitting us being there this afternoon, and we'll take you back in time down that memory lane of all the great times it was at Wrestling at the Chase.
The second main event, a one fall with a 5-minute time limit. Introducing from Winnipeg, Canada, weighing 244 pounds, Kerry Brown. And from Portland, Oregon, weighing 266 pounds, Missouri State Champion Ken Patera.
powerhouse Ken Patera, the Missouri State champion and possibly the strongest man in the world, squares off with Kerry Brown, the second main event on Wrestling at the Chase today. And here's some information about next week's edition of Wrestling at the Chase, a mixed tag match. A mixed tag match will be one of the highlights, man and woman versus man and woman. A mixed tag match next weekend on Wrestling at the Chase. Don't miss that. Patera, the first man ever to press and also to clean and jerk more than 500 pounds. The holder of so many national and international records that it's almost impossible to recount them. And Ken Patera tells referee Chuck Riley, "You've got to learn to get out of my way," as he shoved the 240-pound Kerry Brown right to the corner. Side headlock by Kerry Brown on Ken Patera, the man who could well be the next world heavyweight champion. I cannot think of two more serious, two more dedicated, and two more determined athletes than Ken Patera and the world champion Harley Race. Neither one will give a single inch, a portion of an inch. So when they clash with wrestling's biggest prize on the line, Ken Patera flexing those massive muscles after lifting Kerry Brown onto the turnbuckle. Can you imagine what it will be like when that man, Ken Patera, maybe the strongest man in the world, squares off with Harley Race, who said you have to cripple him to take the championship from him? Well, right there is a man, Ken Patera, who can cripple anyone. Anyone in the world. Patera has the wherewithal, has the power, has the knowledge, has the ability to cripple them. Patera pounds on Kerry Brown, yanks him over the top with a chance where he gets a count of one on Kerry Brown. Remember that Patera won that Missouri State title from Kevin Von Erich and then beat Kevin Von Erich in a rematch. And that says a lot right there about Patera's tremendous amount of skill. Patera with a front face lock on Kerry Brown. Is it a strangle? Chuck Riley checks. Now it's a strangle. As soon as Riley pulled that hand away, Patera went right for the windpipe. A kick to the head from Ken Patera. Patera bangs away on Kerry Brown. Pops an elbow into the face of Kerry Brown. Patera walks across the face of Brown. "Show me what you got, boy," yells Ken Patera to Kerry Brown, and bounces a forearm into the cheekbone and then into the jaw. Kerry Brown twists the arm of the Missouri State champion. Patera flung to the mat. Leg drop to the shoulder of Patera by Kerry Brown. Patera goes to the corner.
2 minutes left, 2 minutes.
Kerry Brown twists Patera's arm, trying to pull him out of the corner. Kerry bending that arm forward. Ken Patera. The pressure's really on him because of the opportunity he has at his command. Patera uses knee lifts to get loose from that armbar arm twist combination by Kerry Brown. Patera lifts Kerry. Look at that. High overhead. Face down and pitches him halfway across the ring. To call that a body slam is an understatement. He threw Kerry Brown, 240 pounds, clear across the ring. At 2, Kerry Brown kicks off Patera. He better check his vertebrae after that slam. Patera hoists Brown once more. Backbreaker. The backbreaker by Missouri State champion Ken Patera once more. Kerry Brown battles away from a potential pin.
1 minute left, 1 minute.
Ken Patera clotheslining Kerry Brown as he came off the ropes. That's like getting hit by a 2x4. There's the full Nelson. There's the swinging neck breaker. The swinging neck breaker by Patera. Kerry Brown forced forward. He's risking serious neck injury right here. A lot of men have gone directly to emergency rooms after being trapped in that swinging neck breaker, and Kerry Brown has to give up. The match is over, and Patera finally releases the swinging neck breaker. Kerry Brown in severe pain, rolling around the mat as Ken Patera, the Missouri State champion, has his arm raised in victory. Here's Mickey.
In 4 minutes and 23 seconds, a swinging neck breaker. The winner, Missouri State champion Ken Patera.
Well, there you have it. Another great classic from Wrestling at the Chase. As we've been telling you, we have those in our library along with Dick DeBruiser's TV library, and we always like to try to bring you them periodically to keep that memory and take you back in time. And we really appreciate you tuning in here each and every Sunday night for the best in live professional wrestling. Every Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Jim, it's always a pleasure.
I hope you're not trying to end this, because there's something else that we need to talk about. We're talking about FanFest 2.
Well,
May 18th.
Well, yeah. Now that you bring that up, you know what? For those of you who follow us, know that this past May at the Bruiser Brody, Larry Matisek, Tony Costa Memorial, we did the first ever Fan Fest in St. Louis. They have these Fan Fests all over the country, as you've heard us talk about, and so the locker room and Nick Redenauer and myself said, well, why don't we try doing one just to see how it'll work, and we was able to get the Aviator Hotel and Ballroom right over there at 6921 South Lindbergh Boulevard in South St. Louis. I know that. I've said that address in my sleep. But you know, and that thing grew legs. Where we had only talked about, you know, bringing in maybe a dozen or so.
Yeah.
And before we know it, we were up to 50 people.
It was crazy.
And so believe me, it was a logistical nightmare. You know, people flying in. You know, not everybody gets to fly in at the same time on the same plane. I think we made 48 trips back and forth, both getting them in and then both getting them back to the hotel. So long story short, a few of us got together and said, okay, we did it once, let's try and do it again. And so we booked back at the Aviator Hotel, 6921 South Lindbergh Boulevard in St. Louis, Missouri. We booked that for it's May 17th and 18th.
That's right.
Yeah, I've kind of
made it bigger.
I kind of threw a ringer in there. Thanks to my good friend, Mr. Bill Apter, will be joining us that Friday evening with a private VIP reception area where he'll be doing his one-man show. And if you haven't seen that, I'm going to tell you, that's worth the price of admission in itself. If you've never, ever listened to Bill Apter, I mean, there's a guy that had so much to do with these legends' careers, because back then there was no social media.
Right.
He put more miles on an airplane or on a car than Henry Kissinger ever thought of doing.
Yeah.
Traveling all over the world, taking pictures for the magazines, and I mean, I can't tell you how many of the legends have said, you know, without Bill Apter, there would be no, my career would not be there.
I mean, yeah, he is Mr. Promotional right there. I mean, back in the day, in order for your name to get out there, you had to talk to Bill. You know, Bill, and if he liked you, you know, he promoted you, and you got up to the top of the card that way. You know.
Right. So Bill Apter will be doing his show on that May 17th, which is that Friday evening, and you're going to be hearing a lot more about this each and every week and month. We're 7 months out, and we've already announced Dr. D. David Schultz, the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, just yesterday or the day before, Little Cato is with us. Today, of course, Bill Apter we announced. Who else? B. Brian Blair will be with us. Greg Gagne, Jumpin' Jim Brunzell is going to be with us. I think there's Dennis Condrey, Loverboy Dennis Condrey.
Oh, that is awesome.
Is going to be with us. And I mean, we're 7 months out, and I think there's 18 names, and I haven't even listed all of them yet or posted them.
Yes. I thought you were crazy about, you know, listing all these people out already, but now I'm getting so psyched. And like you said, we're 7 months out, and I want it to be next month.
Yeah, well, but we're going to do it. So mark that date. It's the weekend after Mother's Day, May 17th and 18th. The Friday night will be the VIP reception with Mr. Bill Apter, and some of the legends that will be in town will join us for that evening. And then, of course, Saturday, the big Fan Fest will start at 10 a.m. in the morning, just like it did in May. Barbara Goodish is already confirmed to be there. I'm hoping that I can get the other part of that trio. You know who I'm talking about, Pam and Darla. If we can get the queens of wrestling in there, it would be everything that we need to have a great weekend. So again, we've talked quite a bit here tonight, but when I have a guest like the champion of SICW, the Big Texan, with what he's been going through, and hopefully he's going to hold on to this for some time. At least I know that's what you hope.
Oh, that's my goal. It would be great because if I won it last year, well, this year at the Memorial and the Fan Fest. Hopefully, I can be, going there with the belt and defending it for the first time. At
Well,
the Fan Fest.
and one other thing we did forget, and on October 21st, you're going to be defending the Shriners at the Temple. You're going to be defending their title
Yeah,
that you
that's
won
nice
there
little
last
belt
year.
too, yes.
So you've got 2 titles, and like I said, they're excited about that, and that's October the 21st at the Ionide Shriners Temple in East St. Louis, Illinois.
Another beautiful building.
Beautiful building. You got to come down and see that. We had a great time there earlier this year. In fact, we had such a good time, they booked us for this year on October 21st, and they've already booked us for October 19th of 2024.
Right.
So-
and this year you're bringing in some ladies too. So
Got some ladies in there,
Card.
and there will be a cage match there this time at the Shriners. Can you imagine that big cage sitting up in that auditorium?
It's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be great, but I can't tell you who's going to be in that cage match.
Oh,
That's a surprise. So if you want to see that, you have to come Saturday, October 21st to the Shriners there in East St. Louis on St. Louis Avenue. Great building, great location, always a great time. So again, enough for tonight's episode. We really appreciate it. I don't think we forgot anything else.
no, I think we got it all.
We got
this
it all
time.
covered. Thank you, and then we'll see you right back here next Sunday night at 8 p.m.